Okay, everyone, I'm back. And yes, this actually did rise. So I'm going to put this over here because I got to have it again. Okay, while we were gone, the rice did actually cook until it was nice, good, and fluffy. Remember, I mixed the two white and um, brown. So I got a nice, beautiful mix of rice. Salvaged what I could of the green beans. It wasn't a lot, but I did actually find some creamed corn, which is a blessing. So I can add that to my rice, and I feel good. Now, the next thing this thing said is to punch it down, divide it into two loaves, put it in them in well-oiled pans, cover them up, and let them set for about 30 minutes or so, at least until they are about an inch over your dough pan. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to punch that down. And I'm going to try to take this out. So I don't need this anymore. So I'm going to set this over there. Oh, let me move this so you can see what I'm doing. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to make this into a nice pretty ball. That way I know for a fact I can get 2 even loaves out of this. I'm going to come up here and get me my good knife. I'm going to eyeball this. Now, the reason why I did that particular knife is so I can scrape the bottoms of the bottom board if I have to. And I really don't have to. But I'm going to bring down one of my pans so you see what I'm doing. And all I'm doing is I'm just taking the bread and kind of doing that with it. And now what I'm doing is I'm just taking even this out into the pan where it goes from corner to corner. Making sure it's nice and even on top. Now remember, the recipe I used was the Amish white bread, but I ran out of flour in mid dough, so I had to use cornbread, the cornmeal. So this is it's not true Amish white bread. So, yes, this does have the texture of the cornmeal. This may wind up being an interesting loaves here. Like I said, you do what you got to do, and have faith that no matter what, you're going to wind up with everything you need. And yes, I was just talking to my husband about that, and it is so hard. Because I am fastly running out of everything and almost in a panic myself. So I'm still having to constantly remind myself, we're all right. We gonna make it. We okay. I'm gonna wash my hands real fast. And ever heard the saying, cleanliness is next to godliness? And I do believe that because you do stay healthy as long as you're, when you're cooking,
Okay,
as long as your hands are clean. What you doing, honey?
I don't want to talk to you after you're done. Bye.
Now, in a lot of ways, that man is my anchor. Like I told you, like I just got out of my mouth, I am almost in a panic that I am just about out of everything. And he was quick to say, "All right, we're okay. We're gonna get there. Just hang in there." And that's what I keep telling y'all. And like I said, it is hard to do, but necessary to do. If you just hang in there, it's gonna be all right. Sorry, my nose is itching. We're gonna be all right. Okay. So I'm gonna take my towel that I had these rising with. I'm gonna put it right back on top, and I'm gonna let them sit. See, there they are. We're gonna let them sit for about another 30 minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna wash my board again. Wash my knife, or set my knife aside because I don't think I need it. And I'm gonna start with my pork chops. What's going on, hon? Well,
Everything's okay?
you know, I'm just being graceful today. Okay. Got that. He's watching car stuff. Not what I would call interesting. But I'm a woman.
No, it's this new movie coming out in theaters this month called Fighting with My Family, and The Rock is on it. And they're trying to become famous wrestlers. I want to see it. And if we can see it February the 14th, I would love to.
Cross your fingers and it's a romantic movie coming out on Valentine's Day. Okay. All right, let me get my cast iron skillet out and let's get these chops going. Actually, much rather not have to deal with a cast iron right now. That thing is heavy. Let's do this one instead. Okay, let me open this up. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to set this down right here. Move this where y'all can see what I'm doing again. Oh, how many have I got? 1, 2. They're not completely thawed. About 4. No, they're not completely thawed. So let me carefully pull these apart so they don't rip, because I absolutely do need this meat to come out really good. So I wound up with 4 good sized pork chops. And these are bone-in pork chops. They're various sizes. So yet again, let me wash my hands. Let me get my seasonings out and get the oil in my skillet, and we will get these. While I'm waiting on the bread, and I probably do need to go ahead and get my oven heated up so we can cook that bread. Okay. Now, here's a tip I do all the time. 1 clean hand, 1 dirty hand. Reason why is I can hold the seasoning with 1 hand, and I'm going to use this one. My seasoned salt, pepper, and rub and mix the meat with the other one. And that way I'm keeping everything clean. I'm not putting any germs where they shouldn't be. And that's rising. It's doing great. Now I do need to get oil back in my skillet. Okay. Set this aside. The reason why I hadn't done much to the rice right now and the green beans is because the seasonings I'm gonna get out of the my skillet here, I'm gonna put all that in here. And after I cook the chops, and then I'm just gonna heat my rice back up again. But this time I'm going to take the veggies and corn and just dump them all into my rice. So that's why I just left this. Okay, so I'm going to cut this up on, like maybe that right there. Cut that up. Okay. So 1 clean hand, 1 dirty hand. And I'm just lightly doing this. What makes it look like I'm putting more on here than I am. And yeah, I got my phone in my back pocket. Okay, so I'm gonna take and rub all this in. And I'm gonna flip them over. And yes, dearest, I will wash my cutting board. He got out of my kitchen very quickly. I guess he thought I was going to put him to work. Well, if I could get it to come out. Well, that turned out coming out very quickly. Mm. This one didn't come out with a lot. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm done with that. Let's put pepper on these. And yet again, we're going to flip it over. Okay, so I'm done with this one. And with that, our son is just having a blast in there, doing God knows what. Well, I do know what he's doing. He's got no toys around him, and he seems to be having that. He's got no toys around him at all, and he seems to be having the time of his life. Even though he could kind of maneuver himself over to where the toys are, seems to be perfectly enjoying himself on an empty playmat. Okay, flip these over again. By the way, these two are still frozen, but they're not as frozen as they was. Milo, what you see outside, honey? What's outside, baby? I'm gonna take one of my bigger ones and go in this skillet. Then I'm gonna go and wash my hands real quick so I don't have to well, you know. Now remember my our bread over here? It is just about got to the point where it's coming above the pans. So I want to leave that for just a little bit longer while my oven is still preheating. So as of right now, everything seems to be at a mild little standstill. Oh, correction, my son has actually moved over to where the toys was. And still having the time of his life. Alright, now that's been done. Now I'm cooking my pork chops on a medium-high heat. That way I can cook them somewhat slow. I don't want them getting done too quickly because I want all those. For one thing, I like all those juices to kind of sit and marry together. All my seasonings to kind of sit and marry together. Well, that's just the way I like doing it. So let me get these laid out so when my chops do get done, I have something to set them on. Now it is time to turn it over. That is looking like a very beautiful piece of meat.
This is proposal.
No, I'm cooking it slowly so I don't have to.
Okay.
He thinks all meat needs holes in it, and I say only the really thick ones. Like a nice thick piece of chicken breast or something. Or that turkey I cooked the other day. Tilt that up just a little bit so y'all can see me too. Yeah, he's going behind everybody to keep the house clean while I'm cooking. I know that's not done. Okay, now I'm just saw my bread and I'm going to go ahead and pop that in the oven because that does look very nice and beautiful. As I pop it in the oven, I will show you what this looks like. There we go. I'm going to let it, now I'm going to put this in the oven, both of them, and we're going to let them cook. Okay. I'm going to cook this one just a little bit longer. By the time I get everything done, my bread should be done. Well, can you not say night night to Mama?
Say night night. He's gonna go to bed. You'll eat him once he gets done cooking.
I see night night to Mama. See what Mama's doing? Night night, baby. Night night, my honey bun. Give Mommy kisses. You want to give Mama a kissy? You want to try to? Mwah. Okay, Papa. Night night, baby. See you in after a while, okay? Okay. That one. Time for the next one. Yet again, I'm going for the really big piece of meat. And just for curiosity's sake, I'm going to poke my head in here at this bread. It's already starting to rise. That's a lot of rice. I think I'm going to split this in half. I could save some of that for another meal. Well, that did not make him happy. And he's expressing just how unhappy that made him very loudly. Y'all probably can't hear it, but I sure can. At one point, I will try to make I do something called Hail Marys. I will take what I've got, combined it together, and pray to God it turns out nice, really good. So this is going to wind up being one of my Hail Marys. I've got some broth for my neck bones. All the juices I boiled my neck bone in, I saved it because that's a broth. And decided, so I can take another meat and make a soup out of this rice. Okay, time to check my meat here. It's looking good, by the way. Not quite ready to turn over, but it won't be long. Now the pork chops and rice is going to be tonight's supper. I do have leftovers in the refrigerator from yesterday. My black neck bone and black eyed peas and rice. That will be mine and my husband's lunch for today. Keep that all nice and evenly distributed. So I'm probably going to cut into one of these just so I can taste and see what it's like, what it's going to wind up tasting like. But we ain't going to have one of these until tonight. And then tomorrow for lunch, I'm going to take the bread and we're going to have bread sandwiches, pork chop sandwiches for lunch. And I've got a few extra dollars saved up so we can get us a cheap Coke with some cheap potato chips. And that will be our lunch tomorrow. Now, while that side's cooking, I'm going to come up here and let's see what kind of soup we will be having with my neck bone stuff.
What is lunch in?
Oh, that's one of the things you got to cook on. Not cook, but just put together.
Alright, just go ahead and get tossed out. And wash these off.
I think I'm going to take my chicken. Because one, I got to have my chicken. For chicken soup, chicken and rice soup. That will, for one, I need that container for tomorrow's lunch.
What container?
The container the chicken's in.
Oh.
For our sandwiches. I got just enough money we can have a cheap Coke and some chips.
I don't know what you're going to do with that.
We can get them at the gas station, have pork chop sandwiches and chips and a Coke. And I got cookies in there too. Oh, by the way, I got peanut butter cookies that I made. When I do my chicken and rice soup, I will show you how I did that, because that's one of the easiest cookie recipes you could ever do. But I tweaked mine just a little bit because I really don't like plain peanut butter. I don't know why. I loved it when I was a kid. We'll eat it out of the jar, but it's just one of those things when you put it into a cookie form, So I added a little cocoa to it. So tomorrow, I will show you guys how I did that. We got beans. Come over here, down here, and check my. Don't need this. Check my bread. Well, that's turning into something very beautiful. Who would have thought? And then tonight I will make him some cereal. Okay, baby?
Yeah.
Even Squirt Blossom's out of food. Yeah, all he's got is bottles and cereal. But like I said, God provides. Oh, we are not happy. Hang on, everybody. There's two. Don't both look good. Now these two pieces will be tomorrow's lunch. For one, the bone is not, there's not much bone in these.
Okay.
Bread's not all that big, but this will be perfect.
For?
Not exactly sure, honey bunch. Getting real excited when you come in here.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh, here's a little tip. If you're cooking a piece of meat that's got a lot of fat on the side, like this one does, something I have learned, don't cut that off. If you cook it nice and slow, about like medium, that's very juicy. But a way to tell if it's ready to flip is by looking to see how clear it is. That fat will turn clear, almost like a plastic clear, just about. And you will see it transform, change colors. And that's a way to tell if it's ready to flip or not. So if you didn't know that, now you do. Oh, we are very hungry. Oh heavens! No wonder. What I'm doing is just checking to see where this bone is so I can cut it out later. And it's just in this one little area. That's not bad. Daniel. Take our bread. Oh, it's looking good. Looking really good. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Put my last one in. This one's not going to take long at all. So I'm not going to walk away from it either. I will take and put that cutting board over there so I can, over at my sink so I can get it washed. But that way I can set my bread on my cutting board when it gets done. Or I can just set it right there. Either way. Well, go ahead and cut that open. Won't be long and that bread will be done. Yeah, he is very hungry right now. So he's fussy because of that. We've lost track of time. Okay. Now I'm going to cut this off for right now. There's my chops. I like to have an accident. Be very careful with what you're doing. Because we do not want accidents. Now, I'm going to let the meat set. I'm going to let this set for a minute. I will cut it down, but on a little lower. Like medium low, because I just want to heat this through. Green beans are done. I've already boiled them. But I got to wash this pan, my cutting board, real quick. And because I've had raw meat on it, I need to really sterilize this. Alrighty, everyone, let's rinse this off, get it dried off. Here's another thing. When you have a wooden cutting board, make sure it's not setting in a whole lot of water. In fact, it don't need to be setting in water, period. Because at one point, this thing did bow, but I kept using it and kept using it and kept using it. I just kind of straightened it back out. I flattened it out by just using it. Still not completely flat. But you got to make sure this is nice and dry. Because you don't want a bowed up board. Okay, everyone. So I'm going to get my hot pad out and go ahead and get my bread out because I'm pretty sure it's done. But before I do, I'm going to take one of my knives here. It's just a butter knife. And I'm going to poke a hole into my bread just to make sure. Like anything, if it comes out clean, then it's, if the knife comes out clean, then you know it's done. And they do come out clean. So my bread is done. So now I've got 2 loaves of bread of who knows what. Can't call it Amish white bread, but you can't really call it cornbread either. So what do you call this concoction? Okay, so I'm gonna take and I should probably take my pork chop knife, come over here and get the second. Hang on a minute, everyone. He stepped outside and left his phone. Hello. Uh, I'm, my husband has stepped outside, so I don't think we are looking to repair the credit card at this moment. Well, mine's there, but I started out with no credit at all. And my husband's is very poor, but we don't have enough money to pay for this right now. Right. Well, dearest, I can't even go out and get groceries right now. We don't have a check right now. So we can't pay for squat right now. Okay? So have a nice day, and if my husband is interested in this at a later time, he will contact you again.
What y'all talking about?
Credit repair.
I don't know.
I figured you were going to say that one, so that's why I said what I done. Okay, so now I'm going to take the corn here, cut this on low, cut my oven off because I don't need it, got my bread cooling.
So I gave you the address to the place, right?
Yes, it's sitting in my wallet.
Okay. I'm gonna need that tomorrow morning. Put it in your GPS so we can go down there tomorrow morning. I can go to this job here and get me a job.
Right. Okay. Got that empty. Now I'm not going to add anything to my cream corn because all the seasonings that was on my pork chops are right in this skillet.
I got you some food in there.
Yes, honey.
I forgot about that.
Burnt biscuits with some neck bone leftovers.
This thing had that chocolate in it.
No.
This goes in the trash. All this goes in the trash, and I'll scrape this out when I come back home.
So, well, I'm going to finish up tonight's supper. Now you know how to make bread and pork chops. So, I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a blessed day, and
This can go. This will
like I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a really good day, and God bless.